What's up, Warrior Babes? Hey, everybody. Nikki here. Welcome to our live Warrior Babe Q&A time together. I am using a whole new system, so I apologize if I look like I am super confused. I just want to make sure that I'm able to see your guys's comments coming through. All right, I see Kim, I see Nicole. What's up, you guys? Hello. I wonder, all right, this is gonna take me a little bit of time to get used to, but let's go into the group. All right, as you guys are joining in, you guys know the drill. Comment, say, hey, what's up? Let me see who's here. And you guys know that the more comments that you guys leave beneath of this video, the more that it pushes the video to the top of the Facebook group, so the other Warrior Babes, maybe it's the first time or they're new to this group, they can see this and they can click on it and they can join in live. All right. If you guys are tuning in at a later date or time, then just do the hashtag replay and then please keep all of the questions here in the comment thread that pertain to this Q&A. That way Kate can come back at a later date or time and answer any questions that were left after we were done this live time together. All right, so what's up, everybody? Hi, what's up, Courtney? What's up, Christy? All right, there's definitely a little bit of a delay. So I'm going to say this right now. If you guys have questions, start commenting your questions in the comment thread, because we'll kick off this Q&A in just a few seconds once this lag kind of catches up. But if you guys start leaving questions now, then I will see the questions coming through and then we can kick off this Q&A in just a few seconds. So start commenting your questions if you have them. But before we do dive in and during this lag experience, if you guys are new to Warrior Babe, yes, I am so excited that you guys are here. I want to give a huge welcome to all of the new Warrior Babes who have joined us in this past week. You are part of an amazing, inspiring, and motivating community of thousands of women who are getting toned and becoming stronger, more confident versions of themselves with the truth of what it takes to actually change your body composition. Warrior Babe is where strong is the new sexy. So welcome, babes. I'm stoked that you are a part of this community. If you guys are new, please make sure that you go through the Warrior Babe please make sure that you go through the Warrior Babe Revolution Blast-Off emails. You guys, they are so important for your journey here inside of this community, inside of this lifestyle, right? They're helping those 14 days, one video per day, one task per day, is helping you to lay down a strong foundation for yourself here inside of this group and this program. And it is also helping you to transition into this lifestyle that you guys are becoming a part of, and you're getting rid of anything that you've ever done and tried in the past, and you are now here, and you are learning how to kind of rewire your whole journey as to what it takes to get to your goals. And in the first 14 days, I'm helping you to be able to know exactly what you need to be doing and what you should be focusing on that's going to create long-term sustainable results. That way you don't need another program again. That way you can just look at Warrior Babe and it's your last stop to the type of results that you want to see. Okay. All right, well, I can see if I go back, maybe it's something that I have to do, make it a Q&A. Okay, whatever. I can see it in the Facebook group right now. I'm watching myself and there's such a delay, but I won't look at that video because it's going to throw me off. So let me just open up all of these. Okay, here we go. I can see them. Oh, there we go. Okay. I think it's working. I can see everyone. I can see everyone now. Christy, Courtney, Sandy representing Maryland. Nice. Narcissa, what's up, babe? All right, Kim's asking a question. Ashley, nice. Hi, Nikki. I'm new and this is my first Q&A. Beautiful. Welcome to my new babes, guys. I'm so excited that you are here. All right, cool. So this is still working. I can just look at this, look at the thread. Yeah, I'm using Zoom to get into these Q&As because it's a better quality. So first time doing it, first time for everything. One thing that I do want to say before we kick off this Q&A, if you are new, please don't be the person to ask questions that can be answered inside of the application. Please, 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 please. And don't flood our community with questions that can be answered inside the application. Take the time to search there. Listen to everything that I am sharing with you inside of the application. There's so many golden nuggets. Listen to the rally calls. Listen to the previous Q&As. Like, absorb yourself into WarriorBabe everything. All right. If the questions that you are seeking aren't answered in the application, then head to the FAQs or frequent asked questions page. That's for entire platform that my team updates every single month with common questions that we've gotten over the course of the time, and they're like answered in article format with pictures and everything. So head there. And then if your questions can't be answered there or in the FAQs, then head to the Facebook group and ask the fellow warrior babes. I mean, the support inside this group is amazing. And somebody will be answering your question within like 30 seconds to 1 minute max. So, and then the last place that you guys should be going to is support for fitness and nutrition questions. Okay. My support team is not fit to be answering fitness and nutrition questions. They are support in terms of like membership and technical problems and logging into the application, that kind of stuff. So please, if you have fitness and nutrition questions, your best bet is to keep it all inside of our community. Attend these Q&As. Tag Kate, who is our community manager inside of the Revolution, Kate Holly. And if you guys tag her, she'll be happy to, she pops in every single day to answer any questions that she gets tagged in, or she scrolls through the community to see anywhere that she can provide answers to. She has been a warrior babe for years now, years, and has gone through the whole process herself and knows what she's talking about. So listen up to whatever she's got to give you in terms of support and answers to your questions. Okay, now let me dive into this Q&A. Make sure that it's still working. Okay, it's still working. Okay, great. All right, so Kim, is it okay that I'm drinking protein shakes sometimes twice a day to meet my macros? I personally do not recommend getting your protein sources more than 2 times. So if you're doing shakes 2 times, fine. If you're doing 2 shakes and a bar or 2 shakes and 2 bars, cut that shit out. You do not want to be hitting your protein sources with artificial protein. You guys, I can speak to this right now and share my experience with you raw and unfiltered. Haven't shared this in the past week because I've been trying to figure out how to maneuver through it without needing to go to the hospital. But ever since coming back from Bali and living in an environment that I was not used to, I wasn't meal prepping all my stuff. I was going to like artificial stuff like what would I be getting? Oh my God, why can't I think off the top of my head? Oh, like lunch meat. Like processed stuff to meet my protein goals. And I even got protein powder, and I was using protein powder more frequently. And let me tell you guys, in the past week, my body has been like, fuck you. I want some real food. Please give me some real food and I'll start being nice to you. I have had the worst urinary tract infection. To the point where like it was more of a kidney inflammation that led to a UTI. It first started off about like, I'm going to go into the story with you guys because you guys need to know this. And Kim, you hear me loud and clear. You don't want to be having artificial protein sources. You don't want to be having tons of artificial protein sources. And everybody, please hear me out on that. I say that all the time. You can have a protein shake pre and post, but every other meal should be whole foods, non-processed proteins. Okay. So my kidneys started, I had my left pain and then right pain. If you guys followed me while I was living in Bali, I had a a kidney stone while I was in a third world country and had to fight that off naturally. But anyway, I had left pain and right pain. I'm like, oh God, I'm getting another kidney stone. No pain that I experienced with the kidney stone happened. So I was like, I wonder what's going on. So then it started coming into my urethra and my bladder, and I started having problems urinating, and I was like, oh God, what the fuck is going on? So I was like, well, Nikki, your food choices haven't really been that great in terms of protein and the sources of protein that I have been utilizing the past couple of months. So needless to say, I did not end up in the ER because I naturally fought it off myself. So I don't know if you guys have heard of holy basil. It's an adaptogen. That worked really well the first couple of days, and then it wasn't going away. So I researched more into it, and I would go grab it. It's over there. But it's a product called Harmony, and it's a urinary cleanse. And I've been taking it for the past day. And it's literally made a world of a difference. So it literally saved my ass from going in and needing to get an antibiotic, which I don't like taking antibiotics. I don't like taking any type of medicine because I don't want my body to get prone to that kind of stuff. When I really, 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 really need it, then I'll go and take it. But I felt like I could do this naturally and figure out how to do it naturally. So fought it off, won. But more on my story, your bodies are resilient. It's going to fight anything, but you need to be feeding it the right stuff. And it came down to, I was eliminating things and testing things out and seeing what it could come down to. And as soon as I stopped drinking the specific protein that I was drinking, it stopped. So, and on top of what I was healing myself with, but more of my story is I'm sorry, I just went down a rabbit hole, but I felt like I needed to share this with you guys because I haven't shared it yet. But you want to be taking whole foods, non-processed foods, okay? It's your health, okay? It may be a little bit more expensive on your grocery bill, but it's a hell of a lot more expensive than going out to spend money on dinner, lunch, breakfast on a daily basis. All right. I went to Whole Foods the other day. I spent $100, and that's going to get me through the rest of my week. So, whole foods is the moral of my story right there. The moral of my 10-minute story. All right. What's up, Marianne? All right. Nicole. Okay. Been doing WarriorBabe since 2020. Said April, May, June, July. All right. 3 months. I love this program. With that, I'm currently doing 130 protein, 133, 113, and 80. The last 2 weeks or so, I'm noticing that I'm hungry, still hungry. Oh, that's amazing. What do I do? Stay the same macros or increase something? So I would probably recommend increasing your protein just a tad bit, Nicole. As protein is a really good macronutrient to keep you satiated throughout the day. But before you kind of do that, that's what I would do like after I talk about these couple steps that you would want to focus on. Number one, if you're not drinking enough water, you are going to naturally feel hungry. Drinking water, so you have the one part of your brain controls both your hunger and your thirst. So if you are hungry, down some water really quick and then check back in like 10-15 minutes. Was it that you were thirsty or was that you're actually hungry? So water is so important. And then that's my number one. My number two is, hey, Nicole, how are you distributing your macronutrients throughout the course of your day, right? What I mean by distribution is, are you having a solid, and even like your 133 in protein, so divide that by like five being 5 meals, and that would be your target number to hit with your protein. Protein is going to keep you satiated. It's going to kill those cravings that you have throughout the day. And if you're bulking it in the beginning of your day, middle of your day, or end of the day, you're going to notice some cravings wherever you don't have an even amount of protein at. So make sure you're distributing your macronutrients pretty evenly throughout your day. And then the last thing that I would go to is then increasing your protein content because it's going to keep you satiated. That's my recommendation. Sandy, is diet the only way to rid yourself of cellulite? I have it all over. No, strength training is a big thing. Strength training. All right. So a lot of women who, and this is normal. There's a lot of women that do like classes or Pilates or like full body workouts. Strength training helps you to focus on a particular muscle group daily. So like, that's why we have the splits that we have, right? We have 2 leg days, we have shoulders and biceps, or chest and triceps, or back, whatever it may be for the month. That strength training on top of diet is going to help you change your body composition. But let me tell you, that cellulite, that's going to take time. You really got to be consistent with your training and your nutrition. You really got to be all in. You got to want to change your body composition, because that's going to take time, as it does for anything to reach a goal. It's going to take time. So, get yourself mentally prepared for that, for your journey. Marianne, I was wondering what your thoughts are on taking collagen as a supplement. Is it necessary? Well, collagen for some people isn't like digested as a full protein. So I wouldn't attribute it to your protein numbers, because you may not be fully digesting it in terms of like, running through your system, doing what it actually needs to be doing on the protein side. I mean, I know it's a hot new trend. I tried it for like a couple months, didn't really notice anything. I mean, if you want to take collagen, maybe just take it in the pill form, so you don't confuse yourself with like, oh, do I need to track this? Because you don't really, like, you need to track all macronutrients, but let me tell you, like, that collagen isn't being fully digested. Courtney, are you and Madeline still doing Wednesday live workouts on IGTV? I think we're going to try and connect back up next week. It's been a busy last couple of weeks for WarriorBabe and for myself and for the team. So those are definitely not out the window. We're going to try and hopefully connect next week to get one in, because I know they were so much fun and they held us accountable and you guys accountable. So I will keep you guys in the loop with that. Darlene, so lunch meat is no good. Shoot, no wonder my body is not responding. Where do we get that is better? So you can get lunch meat that is organic, but you don't want to get the processed shit. Like I went down the processed avenue, which I'm kicking myself for, because I preach this lifestyle. But it was something fast and convenient for me, and just went down that avenue. And I'm kind of glad I did, because I learned that my body is just like, no, like your body's stronger than that, Nikki. Feed it what it's supposed to be fed. And it's not that your body's not responding. That can be in terms of other situations that are going on. It could be, how's your workouts, how's your macros, how's your sleep, how's your water intake, how's your hormone levels, it can cover so many different things. So don't just narrow that down to that one thing, because that's not it. And if you're not having symptoms, or like I was having, then maybe your body is processing it. But my whole point of that is, like, you want whole foods, and there's such thing as whole lunch meat that's organic, but you don't want it to be the processed, like Hillshire Farm shit. Like the packed with sodium. You don't want that. And I think my whole symptom was actually truly originated. It was my food choices, but it was made worse with the protein that I was using. What's up, Bobby? All right, Rana, I am currently doing build macros. I am unable to do any physical activity for 7 days. Should I decrease my macros at all during this week? Also, I have been doing build macros the last 3 months, but have only been able to do at-home burn workouts due to the gym being closed. Will I still be able to build with doing these workouts? I still don't see much change in weight or pics, but have been afraid to do another bump up in macros due to not being able to go to the gym. So Rhonda, if for 7 days, if it's just you not being able to do anything, I wouldn't necessarily drop your macros, because then your body might get adapted to those new ones, and then you're going to bump it back up. So I would honestly just stay where you are in terms of the macros, to answer your first question. And then you can still, we have a thunderstorm going on here. There's a big lightning bolt. You can still do the burn workouts at home, but you want to really focus on challenging yourself with that weight and getting really good mind to muscle connection. Basically, you want to put that food to use. So you want to make sure that your intensity and your volume and everything like that is really high during your workouts, and that you feel that fatigue really happening. And then in terms of the change, so when you're focusing on building, you guys, I say this inside my blueprint program. It's really important that you are mentally prepared for the journey of building, because not only you're going to gain some weight because muscle needs fat, muscle needs fat in order to grow, but some of the changes are going to be minimal until you actually start cutting back down and revealing that muscle that you've built during that time. So you really need to be mentally prepared by eating that much food, putting in the work on a daily basis inside of your workouts, and being more connected to the overall vision of what you are trying to do with your body in terms of growing it, rather than being so adamant about the weekly changes. Because I can guarantee you, inside of a build, you're not going to see much weekly changes on a weekly basis. Your weight may fluctuate, and that's going to be some muscle weight, but you have to be mentally prepared for that side of things. So I would stay where your macros are at, and I would continue doing the burn, but I would really focus yourself on the intensity and the volume that you're pushing behind that. Bobby, what do you think of Shakeology as a shake? Personally, I've never tried Shakeology, so I don't really like to preach things that I haven't done. I just know that you need whole food. So whenever I hear of the shakes and like Beachbody, Shakeology, they're the ones that continuously keep trying to reach out to me, and I keep blowing them away, blowing them off entirely. You need whole food. You cannot rely on shakes. And even if they're saying the shakes are whole foods, they're being processed down. So they're eliminating some nutrients out of it when they're making it into a shake form. So personally, it always comes to whole foods. I'm going to preach that. I've preached that since day one, kind of threw myself in the ringer the past couple months, but your body wants whole foods. Its cells want the whole foods. So it's really important. Yeah. So then, Nicole, then I would personally recommend with the protein one that I said to do with your protein. All right, Sandy, my macros are 1,475 calories, 111, 49, 148. I'm having such a hard time getting all the carbs in and always go over in fats. Okay, I have an autoimmune Hashis and can't eat dairy or gluten, so all my carbs are veggies. How can I get all these carbs in? What else can I do? Sandy, it's totally possible. Stop saying that you can't or having a hard time, because in your subconscious mind is just going to tell you, it's not going to help you find answers to it. I'm going to help you understand some answers right now, because there's so many women that I work with up in the higher levels that are dairy and gluten-free. One of the coaches has celiac disease. There are gluten-free things that you can purchase in a grocery store. There's gluten-free oatmeal, there's gluten-free toast, there's gluten-free everything. So I would really recommend focusing on that gluten-free stuff. And you can nix dairy. You don't necessarily need dairy. But my number one suggestion to you, Sandy, is it sounds like, having a hard time. Whenever I hear that, my number one question is, when are you tracking your macros? Are you tracking them as you go throughout the day? Or are you taking the time the night before to really sit down and spend some time in MyFitnessPal to log all of your meals for that next day and getting yourself within the plus or minus 5 of each macronutrient category, protein, fats, and carbs? When I see people do the planning ahead, which you guys will hear me talk about until you guys are blue in the ears, when I see people do that, they are successful the next day. They have programmed their meals, they've hit their macronutrients, and they're set for the next day. They have all their meals. All they need to do is just pull them and eat them. When I see people that track throughout the day, they're setting themselves up for doomsday. They're setting themselves up for all of these macros to be left at the end of the day, like 50 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fats, 50 grams of protein. And they look at that and be like, oh my God, this is so freaking hard, right? It's only as hard as you make it. If you're tracking throughout the day, listen to me right now, you're setting yourself up for failure. But good failure, because you're going to learn, right? And that's how you should look at failure, as a learning process. And what can you do to make it better? So what can you do to make it better is by tracking the night before and getting all of your meals in MyFitnessPal. And I work with women in the VIP with Hashimoto's and in the Blueprint with Hashimoto's. So once they're able to, and reach out to the group as well. There's babes in here who have been successful with that. So reach out to the group and ask them what their go-to sources are in terms of, but I know that you can definitely do some gluten-free, and planning ahead is going to set yourself up for success. All right, Cindy, do you recommend carb tapering? No. Lisa, hi. I have been a member of Revolution and Blueprint for a while now. I have specific questions about eating. Should I ask questions during the session or Blueprint? I haven't joined one of those Q&As yet. If you're a part of the Blueprint's going to be easier because I'm able to unmute you and discuss the conversation and discuss the question that you have and give you clarity moving forward. But if you are new, Lisa, to the Blueprint, I would recommend that you make sure that you're going through the content if you haven't already, and finding out and seeing if you, okay, you've been a member of the Blueprint for a while now, so your specific questions about eating. So this is something that you can totally ask inside the Blueprint Q&A. Tasha, I know you have answered this before, so I remember seeing it somewhere in the emails, I believe. How long would you recommend staying in cut phase? It's so individualized. What I recommend is you don't want to sit at a low caloric intake for way too long, or your body just gets adapted to it and then you stop seeing the results and you hit that AKA plateau. So it's really individualized. If you are in a cut phase, you reach your goal, you've lost your weight, you've toned, you see some of the definition that you want to be seeing, then that's where I would recommend, okay, depending on how long you've been in this phase, let's start, reversing you upwards, getting you more food. And naturally, when you do that, your body's going to respond so well if you're consistent, and you're going to start seeing even more tone happening, and you're actually going to start seeing more decrease happening. So it's really individualized. If you reached your goal, awesome. Start moving up to eating more food. That way you can, when you cut down again, you can cut at a different caloric intake. Each phase is completely different. This is something I cover inside the Blueprint program. Each phase is completely different. Each of your methods are going to be completely different once you go through the phases. So again, it's totally individualized, but I wouldn't recommend being in it for like a year, right? Or 8 months. Like, your body's going to get so adapted to it. You're just going to be hitting a plateau and you're going to be banging your head against the wall. Like, why am I not seeing the results? I'm eating in a deficit. Yeah, well, your body's smart and it recognizes that. So when that happens, you need to throw it a curveball. That's why we constantly have those cheat meals, right? Constantly throwing the curveball. So again, individualized. When you reach the goal, you can stop the cut phase. If you've been in it and your body's not responding, you've been in it for a while, it needs a kick in the ass. It needs something different. Lonnie, favorite fast, simple pre and post workout snacks. So pre-workout would be English muffins, white English muffins with some jelly and some egg whites, or rice cakes with some jelly and some egg whites, or a protein shake in place of those egg whites, and those two same options, English muffins and jelly, or rice cake and jelly. Fruit is really good pre or post. So you can do a banana is really good with a protein shake. Protein shakes are fine to do pre and post, right? And that's how I preach it. Like, you can have two artificial sources of protein. What is going on right now?